More to come on Valley View News. Some surfers want to get back into the water, and how gyms are adapting to COVID-19 restrictions. Delta Airlines banned hundreds of people for not wearing masks. Delta says it added 460 people to its no-fly list. The company began requiring passengers to wear a mask on May 4th. Major airlines now mandate that travelers wear a mask regardless of federal rules. But these airlines aren't sharing their no-fly lists with each other. So after one carrier bans a person, they'll still be able to book a flight on a different airline.
There's a potential deal between Dunkin' Donuts, parent company Dunkin' Brands, and Inspire Brands, the parent company of Arby's, Sonic, and Buffalo Wild Wings. Inspire Brands would pay $106.50 per share for Dunkin', making it a $9 billion deal. Dunkin' Brands confirmed merger talks, but Inspire Brands would not comment.
Costco is now selling an at-home testing kit for COVID-19. It doesn't involve putting a swab up the nose. The kit is a new saliva test which only can be purchased online. It costs between $130 to $140. The process is simple. First you buy the test, next you conduct the test yourself at home, and then mail it back in. Results take between 24 to 72 hours. Medical experts say the results come back faster than many other testing methods.
After retiring from a successful surfing career, a Ventura County resident shows Valley View News how she's teaching the sport regardless of a global pandemic. Here's Cindy Rodriguez.
Ready, 1, 2, 3. There. Now stand up. So much easier. Midway, left.
Mary Osborne didn't miss a beat while California beaches were closed during the coronavirus pandemic. Now, the former pro surfer is in her happy place, teaching anyone how to catch a wave.
I really love sharing the sport with young kids and anyone. It's such a healthy sport to be out there.
Mary surfed professionally for more than 20 years. The champion longboarder retired and started the Mary Osborne Surf Academy. She's taken to mentoring people who want to pursue professional surfing. People like her head instructor, Alana Klassen.
I've known Mary forever. I've always wanted to travel and do what she does, and so I just had to get out there and figure it out. And ever since I got in the water, I fell in love with it.
And even during uncertain times, Mary hopes surfing can bring peace of mind to anyone who seeks it.
You know, you're out in Mother Nature, it's good for the brain, it's good for the body. You get exhausted and you don't even know you're getting exhausted.
All right, lovelies, let's do this.
Although California beaches are open, officials continue to remind residents that gathering without proper social distancing could spread COVID-19 among participants. Reporting from Ventura, I'm Cindy Rodriguez.
Tropical Storm Zeta is forming in the Gulf of Mexico. It's expected to hit the U.S. Gulf Coast. The storm will strengthen into a hurricane with winds up to 60 miles per hour. Officials in Quintana Roo, where many resorts are located, are watching the storm. They prepared 71 shelters for tourists and residents. Zeta is expected to deliver 4 to 8 inches of rain to parts of the Caribbean, Mexico, and the Florida Keys.
Thousands of Nigerian youths are marching to support what's called the End the SARS movement. They want to stop police violence and brutality. Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari wants the protesters to go home.
I therefore call on our youth to discontinue the street protests and constructively engage government in finding solutions.
At first, demonstrators wanted just to close a police unit known as Special Anti-Robbery Squad, or SARS. Now they also want more police reforms and an end to bad governance.
Thousands of Chilean demonstrators poured into the streets last week celebrating the winning vote for a new constitution. After one year after demonstrations swept the nation, Chileans voted to replace the dictatorship-era document with a new constitution. With 100% of the ballots in, 78% voted for a new constitution. The old charter was approved in 1980 under dictator General Augusto Pinochet. The vote was originally scheduled for April, but COVID-19 forced a delay. Once the polls opened, voter turnout was high. Chileans are expected to vote in 2022 to approve or reject an early draft of a new constitution.
Gyms have the strictest COVID-19 regulations. Valley View News reporter Ryan Ketchum visits the row house to see how some gyms are adapting.
Row machines and weightlifting are a normal routine for some gym goers, but during the COVID-19 pandemic, fitness centers are hard to come by. A row coach at the row house, Ala Uwakawa, says they offered online classes and renting out row machines before opening back up.
I know it was really hard for a lot of people, but we just wanted to provide that for people. So it was really great to see regulars that were continuing to come and keep connected with us during this time.
Every time we jump up, I want you to drop it.
Many LA County fitness centers have operated outside for several months. Most will continue outdoors since Governor Newsom's reopening plan requires a less than 8% positive test rate to operate inside. Trevor Benegas says outdoor conditions aren't perfect, but it's well worth it.
We're able to conduct classes essentially the same way we would inside. The atmosphere and the environment is essentially the same, so members are loving it. They're actually glad that they get to go out and do something.
Fitness centers must follow strict sanitization protocols. The CDC requires all equipment to be properly sanitized before its next use. The row house member, Christina Kokenauer, says they always practice cleanliness, even prior to the pandemic.
I don't personally worry, and I have a child at home with a low immune system. I feel that they really do their part in keeping everything clean and everybody distanced.
Despite the regulations, fitness centers like the Row House stay open to serve their communities. Reporting from Granada Hills for Valley View News, I'm Ryan Ketchum.
When we come back, what Proposition 17 means for ex-cons on parole. Also, a school librarian works around COVID-19 to read books to students outdoors. Stay with us. More to come on Valley View News. World leaders react to Biden's election as president, and when sports popularity increases during the pandemic. Many world leaders recognize Joe Biden's election as president.
The European Union stands ready to intensify cooperation with the new administration and with the new U.S. Congress.
Leaders from Canada, Australia, and Afghanistan are a few who have expressed their gratitude about Biden's election, yet there are still no words of congratulations from other leaders. Those remaining silent are Trump's longtime allies like Russian President Vladimir Putin and Brazil's Jair Bolsonaro.
Luis Arce became Bolivia's new president last Sunday. The leader of Bolivia's Socialist Party was sworn in by the president of Bolivia's Legislative Assembly. It happened after protests last year claiming voter fraud. The previous leader, Evo Morales, was forced to resign and flee the country. He returned Monday. Arce was handpicked by Morales, although he says the former leader will play no role in government. Conservative opponents of Arce announced a 2-day strike to protest alleged electoral fraud.
The tropical storm Eta is currently moving 14 miles per hour and is making its way northwest of Florida. The Doppler radar data predicts the storm will continue to move with strong winds and rain across areas of South Florida. Miami, Fort, Naples, and West Palm Beach are in storm warning. Mayor Francis Suarez says the area witnessed high water levels.
We saw a storm surge of approximately 2.2 feet, higher than the normal water levels, roughly similar to what we would experience during a king tide, which obviously caused flooding, particularly near the Bay Area. As of now, we've received 13 reports of flooding.
Eta is expected to strengthen overnight as it makes its way to Keys, Florida, but is expected to slow down on its way to the Gulf of Mexico this upcoming week.
LA sports bars have reopened with outdoor seating. Reporter Ryan Ketchum explains how bars are operating during the pandemic.
Cleanliness is a top priority for sports bars. Face shields and masks are mandatory for employees at Springbok Bar and Grill.
And getting used to all of this took a minute.
Floor supervisor, bartender, and server Dominique Van Wyck says everyone came together to make the transition smooth.
I think we're doing a great job here with the sanitizing, keeping everything clean. The smell of Clorox and Kleenex and Lysol makes me really happy.
LA County is in the state's lowest restaurant reopening tier. Only outdoor socially distanced seating is allowed.
Springbok General Manager Paul Elias says they're happy to still serve their community.
Once they knock down exactly how much of a distance they want each table to be, that's what we follow to make sure everyone has enough space between each other.
The food is excellent, by the way.
Despite the changes, customers still come. Springbok customer of 10 years, Tom Thacker, says he trusts their safety protocols and comes here without fear.
I think it's brought us together even more. You know, the regulars with the bar, we're a family. We look out for each other, we're checking in on each other.
Sports bars like Springbok Bar and Grill may operate outside, but plans for future inside service are in the works. Reporting from Van Nuys for Valley View News, I'm Ryan Ketchum.
9 Dodgers players tested positive for COVID-19. The results came in days after the World Series victory. Los Angeles County Department of Health initially stated there were 5 cases. Their spokesperson confirmed 4 additional cases. It is unclear if the third baseman, Justin Turner, was included. Turner was removed during the final game after testing positive for COVID-19.
The Chargers can't catch a break. A week after giving the winning touchdown to Denver, Los Angeles found themselves on the reverse call of one. The Chargers began celebrating on the field after Justin Herbert threw an end zone fade pass to Donald Parham Jr. He was believed to be in bounds when the ball was in his hands before he fell to the turf. However, Parham bobbled the ball on his way down. The touchdown points were removed from the scoreboard, and the Chargers lost their 6th game this season.
The Augusta National Golf Club is set to take center stage at the first Fall Masters. The event is usually held in April. It was rescheduled due to concerns about the coronavirus. Patrons and guests will not be allowed on site. CBS and ESPN are teaming up to provide 18 hours of live television coverage. The 4-day event begins November 12th to the 15th.
Sports with instilled social distancing are becoming popular with COVID cases erupting. Valley View News reporter Cindy Rodriguez spoke with golfers and workers about what makes the outdoor sport safe.
During a global pandemic, the sport of golf has thrived. With its outdoor fairways and social distancing, Ventura County's River Ridge Golf Course is as active as it's ever been.
We're 30% at least higher than we were pre-pandemic because it's one of the only things to do, and families are playing more. People who had maybe given up on golf before are back at it.
And some newcomers are challenging themselves by picking up the game for the first time. Jacob Bontiveros, who's used to swinging a baseball bat, picked up the sport his grandfather once played.
I gave myself 5 months to try to see if I could par every hole. I'm close, but I'm not there yet. You know, eventually, hopefully, I got 2 more months to keep on going to see if I could do that.
No, 1140. Yeah. Okay, and what's your card number?
Honoring the latest CDC guidelines, the club made sanitary changes throughout the course. But golf still lets anyone who's wary of returning to an indoor gym opt out for the fresh air.
You're outdoors, you're enjoying nature. You don't have to be, indoors with 4 windows and 4 doors. This is breathing air and staying safe, being 6 feet apart and enjoying 4.5 to 5 hours of leisure.
And tee time numbers continue to pile up across golf courses in Southern California and could see an increase with the Masters tournament coming up soon. Reporting from Oxnard, I'm Cindy Rodriguez.
When we come back, Valley View News revisits some stories from the past, including a project which helps people understand climate change. And a guitar instructor shares his passion for music to young kids. Stay with us.